Good morning, Playmakers, and thank you for tuning into today's show. It is March, so you know what that means. It is prime time college basketball season. So we'll start it off today with another edition of Buy or Sell. Maya and Jackson will talk over their picks for the National Player of the Year in women's basketball, and we will wrap it up with a brand new game. But before we get started, let's go over who we have with us today. We have Lily, Maya, and Jackson joining us today. But guys, I want to know what your guys' favorite March Madness moment is of all time.
Oh gosh, I didn't know we were gonna be asked this. Hold on, give me someone else. take the spotlight here.
Okay, I'll start because I know we're gonna get into National Player of the Year, but behind every National Player of the Year, there's an amazing coach. So my favorite all-time March Madness moment is 2017. Dawn Staley is cutting the net for the first time with South Carolina in, of course, my hometown, Dallas, and I was, of course, there, right? Asia Wilson, Alicia Gray, all of them are great players and have become MVPs of leagues. Alicia Gray is actually a part of the Dallas Wings team, so that's probably my all-time favorite moment because great coaches make great players.
I think my favorite March Madness moment, I mean, those who know, Jimmer Fredette was insane in March Madness. Every single year, Jimmer Fredette was awesome, BYU, the whole thing. They were a 7 seed, and they couldn't lose, and Jimmer Fredette couldn't miss a shot. So I think Jimmer Fredette in March was probably my favorite March Madness memory.
I think one of my favorite March Madness memories was, a little backstory, I was born in Wichita. I have a lot of family from Wichita. So I think I'm going to have to go with that. What year was it? 2011, 15, something around there, was when they had the iconic run, went all the way through. They beat some pretty major teams, and I think they ended up to the Final Four or something like that. But I would have to say the Wichita State Shockers' iconic run in that tournament that year.
Yeah. I think a lot of people forget how exciting Jalen Suggs was last year in March Madness, hitting that crazy shot against UCLA. That's one of my favorites of all time. But March sure is built for some magical madness, but the madness started a little early this year as every single top six team in the nation lost on Saturday, the first time that has ever happened. So what better way to dive into it than the segment of Buy or Sell?
Ooh.
All right, so to start it off, buy or sell Kansas Jayhawks.
I'm selling every single stock that I have.
Oh, no.
I am running out of there. I am genuinely concerned for them going into the tournament. Honestly, we saw them lose to TCU last night. I mean, who even knows if they can come back home and play them and win? I mean, if they're bagging on having these home games and being able to beat these teams, then they're not going to have a good tournament run because, they go out in the tournament, they play. I think they're projected to play in Fort Worth right now. You can't go out there and expect to have a home crowd and win the game because you have your home crowd behind you. It's just not, home field advantage is not going to work for them anymore.
See, I'm going to go half and half. I didn't know if I wanted to fully buy or fully sell Kansas. So it's kind of like a toss-up. Like you said, if you can't win at home, if you can't win on the road, then you can't really do March the correct way because you're never going to have home court advantage. And that number 1 seed, number 2 seed spot is for the best players, the best team in each conference, each division, and I don't really know if we're sitting at a 1 seed right now based off of how we're playing.
If they continue to look like they are right now, they are not a number 1 seed team, and that chance of them getting a number 1 seed is declining rapidly.
Yeah, it's about confidence, and I don't see any confidence coming from this Kansas team right now.
I agree.
I'm going to buy into Kansas just for argument's sake. Look at the teams that they've lost to on the road, if you're making this the road argument. Texas Tech's a top 10, 15 team in the country.
Right.
Baylor's a top 10, 15 team in the country. They let one get away from them at TCU. Those are their road losses. Baylor and Texas Tech, who are the other top 2 teams in the Big 12, and the Big 12's a gauntlet anyways, and they've beaten Baylor, and they've beaten Texas Tech. And I understand that it was at home, and I understand that it was at Allen Fieldhouse. But the 2 road losses of the 3 and 1, like I said last night, got away from them at TCU. But that happens in college basketball. You can't play a 30-game schedule without expecting 1 or 2 games to get away from you. Dayton got away from them, and TCU got away from them. Those are 2 games. I mean, this team still only has 4 losses.
Yeah.
This is still a very good basketball team.
See, but I don't think it's really much about the argument of saying road games versus home games. We're not saying the environment itself, but the way that you prepare yourself and the way that you act in those last minutes. There is no way that team should have ever lost by 10 points.
Yeah.
You don't know how to finish games. Yeah. We all know it's not about who starts the games, it's about who finishes the games. We've been brought up on that. But Kansas is unable to finish games in tough moments. You can't bank on Ochai hitting a three, or even against Baylor, he continuously was trying to hit that perimeter shot, and it wasn't going in. I'm not risking the whole game based off one player. There needs to be depth to the roster.
Wait, timeout.
Right.
Closing out games?
Closing out
DeJuan
tough
Harris-
games when they've lost, how did they prepare?
This is not what I'm telling you. Closing out tough games. Iowa State, game winner DeJuan Harris. Kansas State, down 16, came all the way back. Texas Tech, double overtime game winner.
We should have been down to Kansas State in the first
Exactly.
place.
Doesn't
Subtract
matter. They're
Texas
closing
Tech.
out
Those other
games.
two games shouldn't have even been
Oklahoma,
that close.
Christian Brown 3-pointer to win the game. They're
Oklahoma
closing out
still
on the
shouldn't have
road,
been
by
that
the way.
close of a game.
They're closing out these games on the road or at home. They're winning close games. Just because they have a couple bad road losses does not mean the sky is falling. Like,
I said I was going half and half though, but I know
there's
Caleb,
still going to be a 2-seed coming.
Yeah, I mean, their depth has gone from one of their strengths to their biggest weakness, in my opinion. You know, you saw it last night. Ochai had a bad game and they lost. They can't rely on one player that much, as Maya said. But I want to go on to the next one with Gonzaga. Are you buying or selling Gonzaga right now?
selling.
I'm buying.
Oh no.
I don't have any concern for Gonzaga. It's not likely Drew Timme will miss his first 8 shots. It's not likely Chet will struggle to impact the offense like he did on Saturday. I mean, yeah, they had a bad slip up. It was a bad game for them. And Timme and Holmgren had a combined 12 points on 5 for 17 shooting while turning the ball over 6 times. I'm not concerned for them. If I'm concerned for anyone, it would be Chet. We've seen him struggle against a few good opponents this season, but we've seen improvement from him, and I don't think that this one slip-up will be something that will tear Gonzaga apart going into the tournament. I think they're a great team. I think they are very strong, and I think that we could see them go pretty far, but I don't think they will win the tournament.
Don't need to say it again. Fraud.
Yeah.
I mean, I said I have my concerns about Gonzaga. When you can't go undefeated in this conference where you play Pacific, BYU, San Diego, Portland, Loyola Marymount, San Francisco, and Santa Clara, and Pepperdine twice a year, when you can't go undefeated in that conference and your one tough game in conference season is St. Mary's on the road, that doesn't stack up to these SEC teams. That doesn't stack up to these Big 12 teams. That doesn't stack up to the Big 10 teams. Those 3 conference teams are ready for primetime March Madness college basketball. I'm not saying Gonzaga isn't, but I'm saying when your one tough conference game is on the road to St. Mary's in a gym with 2,500 people in it and you lose it, it's a reason for concern, and that's why I'm selling Gonzaga.
And also, Lily, what was the stat you gave? You said 6 turnovers combined for 12 points with Chet and Drew Timme.
Yeah, 5 for 17 shooting.
I'm not a coach. I'm not a National Hall of Fame coach, but I don't want my 2 best players combining for 6 turnovers and 12 points. That's half the battle that you're giving up.
Chet Holmgren fouled out. I will give him that, but I mean that's not an excuse to the way that they played. And like you said, there aren't great teams in that conference. But also, those teams, they're teams like those that go into the tournament and they have those special runs and they beat all these big teams. So, I mean, they're kind of not necessarily used to it, but they can see it coming.
I cannot believe
They can't beat
it.
St. Mary's, but they beat Santa Clara by 20.
Yeah.
Gonzaga's
buy
just
into
such a
that
powerhouse
program.
team. They are such a powerhouse team, and you see them go make these terrific runs in the tournament, and then some years you'll see them just absolutely blow it in the 3rd round.
That is that team. This year's team is the team that's going to blow
I
it
agree.
in the
That's why I
third
said
round.
I don't think they're going to win the tournament, but I'm not going to sell a stock in it because I do have confidence in them.
This
But-
front court is legit, and
Yeah.
I just can't sell on them right now. I'm still buying. I
Yeah.
don't know. I just got to do it. But Arizona had a tough game.
Oh,
so what do you guys
gosh.
think? Buy or sell?
I'm selling.
I'm selling as well.
Yeah. That loss to Colorado was probably the biggest and most embarrassing loss this season for any team in Division I men's basketball. It was pathetic on Arizona's part. I mean, come on. I mean, they're used to having their way around the rim, getting to the basket and finishing, and Colorado did not make that happen for them, and they had no idea what to do. Colorado dominated in the paint, absolutely destroyed them in the paint. I mean, they were struggling to make shots from the perimeter, and they're not usually an elite shooting team. They've made fewer 3-pointers than they have this season. I mean,
So what happened last night then?
What did they
You watched
do
the game
last
last night? They hung 91 points.
I was watching
and beat
the
a top
Avalanche last
15
night.
team on the road in USC by 20. They pulled their starters with 6 minutes to play in the second half. This team hung 91 on USC. If that's not a rebound game and that's not a reason to buy an Arizona stock, what is? I mean, that's a top 15 team on the road. It's a quad one win, and they won by 20. This
So I have
team
a
has beat
question for
UCLA. They beat USC twice. What's
Maya,
your
please tell them
question?
what's
I
up.
have a question. So how
I'm
many
listening.
points did Kansas beat Baylor by?
Did Kansas beat Baylor by, I don't know, 20s, something like that?
And then how many points did they lose to Baylor by?
10.
It's night and day. If you're going to make an argument that Kansas
not
shouldn't
night and
just
day.
be sold out, this one, I can't get with it. Arizona is not a contender team.
But
Is
Kansas
there a
wasn't able to
contender?
bounce back on the road. Arizona beat USC on the road by 20 last night.
I just don't see it. I'm sorry. Arizona is one I'm just going to have to go ahead and sell. But usually we've agreed for half of the show already. So
Which-
it's okay
Yeah.
if we
which is
disagree on
rare.
this one.
Caleb?
Yeah. So as you mentioned, Arizona had their worst game in that loss to Colorado, but they bounced back and won that game. I don't think they're going to have a game like they did against Colorado. They needed a game like
Yeah.
that to beat them down so they could come right back up.
Fair.
So I think they're going to be fine. I think I'm still buying on them. But when we come back, Maya and Jackson take it to the TV to tell us who should win women's basketball's most prestigious award.
Diversity. What is diversity? It can be an umbrella term for a variety of things, ranging from diversity among different people, places, cultures, and ideas, to the way people express themselves and the way they interact with the world. In today's world, people interact with one another and share their thoughts through social media. Let's take Twitter, for example. How are people of different backgrounds, ethnicities, and sexual orientations with different political beliefs, interests, and job titles using this platform differently? Currently, celebrities are interacting with their fans on Twitter by speaking their minds, sharing their beliefs, and supporting social issues. Professional sports figures and organizations in the United States are using Twitter to support social causes and bring attention to current social matters, such as encouraging their fans to vote. Users are voicing their opinions about current issues surrounding racial inequalities, social injustice, and police brutality in the United States. There's diversity in the way people are discussing the upcoming presidential election, especially regarding their opinions of each candidate. Different news outlets are not only highlighting stories in the US, but are talking about important stories from around the world. But many Twitter users don't post about controversial matters or social issues at all. Rather, they use their platform to create memes and post funny content for entertainment. While many topics going around this app involve social issues and political opinions, Twitter creates a space where people can pull together collections of diverse thoughts, comments, opinions, goals, and even a little humor too. So how can we use this platform to express our differences? More importantly, how can we use it to learn from each other's differences today?
You may not hear it at first, but it's there. Our chant, rising. On this summit, callings converge, voices unify into a chorus that sounds out for good, for greatness. Can you hear it?
Caitlin Clark and Aaliyah Boston have been killing it this year, but who deserves the National Player of the Year award? Maya and Jackson, take it away.
Okay, so this is a debate that we've been waiting, about 3 weeks to talk this over.
It's been a little while, yeah.
Yes, and before we start off on the debate, we have two amazing players that actually, I feel like we should switch sides because this isn't fair. I don't want people thinking that I'm really going for Caitlin Clark, so let's just go ahead and switch sides. Switch with me, as
My
you
mic's
should be
tangled,
on
but
that
sure.
side. So that should tell everyone who we're going for, but I feel like you should start off with everyone's favorite player of the year, but not everyone's national player of the year. Go ahead and give us Caitlin Clark.
Well, why is she not everyone's National Player of the Year? Let's just take a look at the stats. This is actually, we updated this graphic just a little bit a while ago, but she's actually averaging 27.5 points a game now, 8.5 rebounds a game, 9.5 assists per game. She has a steal per game. Turnovers are a little bit more, wary because she handles the ball more than Aaliyah Boston does. She shoots the ball at a 44% clip. She's shooting 30% from three, and she's almost automatic from the free throw line. The stats love Caitlin Clark, especially in comparison to Aaliyah Boston. I understand that South Carolina plays better teams. They're in the SEC. That's a better women's basketball conference. But Caitlin Clark, she scores more, she assists more. She's the leader of the 12th ranked team in the country. And the reason why Iowa could make a deep run in this March Madness tournament for the women's side this year, they're going to probably be a 2 or 3 seed. And the reason they're going to make noise is Caitlin Clark. She's the leader of this team, the best player in America on both sides, men's and women's. That's my argument for Caitlin Clark so far. Go ahead, your refute.
Okay, so I can't disagree with the fact that she's everyone's favorite player to watch right now. She's very exciting, right? And usually the most exciting player gets the most airtime. We both know that. But being the 12th ranked team in the nation, I give her that credit. But there's no one else on that team that can compare to her. So it's easy to put up 26 points. I think she had 42 3 weeks ago. That's easy when you don't have any help. So I'm sorry Aaliyah Boston has the #1 team in America that's been able to share the ball well. But this is one thing about stats. To be shooting as much as she does and have as many points as she does, because you said, I'm so sorry that Caitlin Clark always has the ball in her hand and she shoots better. She doesn't shoot better. This says 44.8% from the field goal range versus Aaliyah Boston, who's averaging a double-double right now with 54% from the field goal range. Now, this is one thing that I love about Aaliyah Boston. She is a dynamic player, which we both love in any game. We talk about dynamic players that can do it all over the floor. If it's the perimeter, she's shooting. If it's in the paint, she's shooting. Mid-range jumper, she's going to kill you every single time because she's that girl. Let me tell you one thing about being the National Player of the Year. I don't care if you can give me the best highlight reel in men's basketball or women's basketball. I care about winning, and I care about when it comes down to the last second, who's going to have the ball in their hand and are they going to choke. Caitlin Clark, who's your favorite player in women's basketball right now? Do you mind telling everyone?
Paige Beckers, of course.
Paige Beckers, would you say she's better or worse than Caitlin Clark?
This year, I have to say Caitlin
No,
Clark's
just
better.
in general.
Paige Beckers is a better player than Caitlin Clark.
And why
is.
would you say Paige Beckers is a better player than Caitlin Clark?
Because when healthy, Paige Beckers is the best player in the country.
And what does she do? What makes her the best player? Because she's what?
Because she does everything.
She does
and she's on the best
everything.
team.
Don't even finish. She does everything. But what does Caitlin Clark do that, you would say, she's not that great compared to Paige Beckers? She doesn't do
What? What am I missing?
everything. She
What am I
doesn't do
missing?
everything. Your National Player of the Year because Paige Beckers won last year compared to Caitlin Clark because Paige Beckers can do everything versus Caitlin Clark that's really a one-note player. Aaliyah Boston here. Wait. Aaliyah Boston here can do everything. And this one is going to make everyone upset because right now in the rankings for National Player of the Year, you have Caitlin Clark, Aaliyah Boston, and y'all know my hometown favorite, NaLyssa Smith out of Baylor. If I'm ranking, I'm saying Aaliyah Boston, NaLyssa Smith, and Caitlin Clark is my third place.
Caitlin Clark's not a top 2 national player
She's not a top
of the
2
year?
player because she's not dominant all around. If you have 4.8 turnovers, and I think her most is like 8 turnovers in a game, I don't want you. If we take Caitlin Clark and put her in the SEC, she's not dominating these numbers. If you take Caitlin Clark, put her in the Big 12, she's not giving you these numbers.
On what team?
On any team. It doesn't
What are you
matter.
talking about?
Aaliyah Boston can go to any team, and she's going to be the best player on the court, and that's what makes your National Player of the Year. It's about how well you can dominate in tough moments. When you're going against Stanford, because that's the top-ranked team, she's able to put up big numbers and dominate no matter what. When you're going against LSU, she's able to dominate. Put her against Baylor, she's able to dominate. Caitlin Clark, all she is a stat runner. I'm sorry to say it. She's a great player, but she's not your National Player of the Year.
Caitlin Clark's a stat runner, but she has no help on offense, right? That's what you said?
That is what I said.
Yeah, wrong. They're the second best team in the country on offense. They score 88 points a game. That's the second best in the entire country.
Okay.
That's all of Division I. Caitlin Clark doesn't play any defense, right? So Iowa's not a very good defensive team. Wrong. They're 5th in defensive rating this year. You want to know where South Carolina is? Below that.
But
you want to know where South
here's the
Carolina
thing.
is in
Here's the
scoring
thing.
offense?
We're not
in
talking
the top
about
50.
teams. We're not
Not
talking
in the
about
top
teams.
50.
It's not who's the National Team of the Year. It's the National Player of the
You
Year.
can't make the argument for
Yes,
no
I
help
can.
then.
Actually,
You can't
I
make
can
the
make
argument
the
for no help
argument
then.
because Aaliyah Boston, and I have the stat off of Instagram right now, that Aaliyah Boston is the #1 in win shares, #1 player efficiency rating.
Of course she's #1 in win shares.
Wait.
Her team is 27-1.
She's the only player the only player in the top 30 in both offensive ranking and defensive ranking. Caitlin Clark can't say the same. So why would she be National Player of the Year if she's not good on both ends of the ball? So thank you, everybody. I know you probably have more to say.
Look at
but
the
right
graphic.
now,
Go to our
we
Instagram.
have to ask Caleb. Once again, I'm sorry, you have to be the tiebreaker. Who's the best, Aaliyah Boston or Caitlin Clark?
You know, it's going to be a close race for sure. I'm actually going to have to lean with Caitlin Clark a little bit, but Maya, you made a very tough argument. But let us know who you guys think wins this award on our Instagram at Good Morning Playmakers. But when we come back, a brand new game that you don't want to miss. Welcome back, and welcome to a brand new segment. Last week we had the wheel, but this week we trade the wheel for a different type of game show. Let's kick off some March Madness trivia with a brand new game show, Who, What, Where. The rules are simple. I'll ask the question to the first contestant, which in this case is Lily. If Lily guesses the answer correctly, she receives a point, and we move on to the next contestant. But if she gets it wrong, Jackson will have a chance to steal the point with a correct answer. If the question goes through everyone without a correct answer, nobody gets the point. Understand?
Got it.
All right.
Understand.
No cheating, so let's shut all the laptops and let's get this show on the road. Lily, first up. Who is the only 16 seed to win an NCAA tournament game?
You guys, my history's not great.
You don't know this?
Yeah, you don't know this because we all know this. When in doubt, choose Kansas.
Loyola Chicago.
Wrong. Jackson.
2019 UMBC beat Virginia.
UMBC
Exactly.
Retrievers
Yes.
beat the
Dang it.
one-seeded Virginia Cavaliers in 2018's NCAA tournament.
2018, my bad, wrong year.
So, next question, Jackson.
Cool.
Who is the NCAA tournament's all-time leading scorer?
NCAA tournament's all-time leading scorer. I'm gonna go with Pete Maravich.
Wrong. Maya?
I was hoping I got this question out of all of them. The NCAA leading scorer is, sorry, I know this. His name is, he went to KU, right?
Nope.
Oh, okay.
Is this default
I'm just
to
going to go
Lily
with Michael
now?
Jordan. Thank you.
Wrong. Lily, you have any idea?
It's a current NBA player, right?
It is not.
Oh
No.
God. Okay.
I have a second guess.
Take it away.
Oh, no.
What?
No,
All
that's how the
right.
game
You
works.
won't get the point, but what's your second
it
guess?
Kareem?
No, it's Christian Leitner.
Ah, that's
Oh,
right.
man, I knew it was in North Carolina.
Played from Duke for
He's a Duke
played
guy.
for Duke from
I know I said Michael
1988 to
Jordan.
1992
North
and scored
Carolina.
407 points
Oh.
in the tournament in his career.
Yeah.
Wow.
So,
Do it.
Maya, this one's for you.
Oh, God.
Who is the lowest seed to ever win the national championship?
Okay.
This one I do know.
This one I know too.
Do you?
Can you give me a hint?
There's
the
some easy
lowest
ones, don't worry.
seed, I'm gonna say it was probably Texas. I don't know.
Wrong. Lily? You got it?
This should have been multiple choice, guys.
Yeah, I
There
think
is one
multiple choice.
there's multiple choices next.
Oh,
Okay.
good. Okay. Oh, guys.
January.
No,
Is it UConn?
it is wrong. Not UConn. It is 1985 Villanova, who knocked off Patrick Ewing in the championship. They were the 8 seed.
I would have never guessed that.
Dang.
All right.
Yeah, I really
Those
thought it was
jerseys.
Next one. All 4 1 seeds have only made the Final Four one time in 2008 when Kansas, Memphis, UCLA, and North Carolina all made it. But how many times have 3 of the 4 1 seeds made it? Multiple choice. A, 3, B, 5, C, 8, or D, 10.
Wait, is this like addition?
Questions for me?
No.
What's question 4?
Lily.
You got this, Lily.
How many times
No,
have
That
3?
was her question last time.
No, it was my
No, it's
question.
hers.
Oh, no, you're right. I'm wrong.
How many times have 3 1 seeds made the Final Four?
What were my answers?
3, 5, 8, or 10?
I'm going to go 3.
Wrong.
I think it's 5.
It is 5.
Wow.
With the last time being in 2015 when the 1-seeded teams were Duke, Kentucky, and Wisconsin.
Yep.
So,
Dang it.
Jackson,
Yep.
what conference has the most NCAA
Oh, that's
basketball
easy.
championships?
Come on.
Most college basketball championships?
That's
It's
easy.
not. Is it the ACC?
Nope.
No.
It's not. Okay, I don't know.
Maya?
The SEC.
Nope.
No.
Lily?
Duh.
Last chance.
I know it. Now I know what the answer is because I forgot about one
Exactly,
school,
right?
Um,
Crazy.
Stop.
My conferences are not coming to my head right now.
When in doubt, choose Kansas.
What I don't choose.
It's not the Big 12.
It's not the Big 12.
When in doubt, choose Kansas.
What conference is Duke in?
The ACC.
Which has already been
Think of
guessed.
that one.
Oh, it was. Oh.
I'll let you know it's pretty heavily favored to one team.
Is it the Pac-12 quiz?
It is the Pac-12.
The Pac-12.
It is the Pac-12.
They have 16 national
UCLA has
championships.
a bunch.
UCLA has 11.
Yep. Dang it.
All right.
Wow.
So, last question. All top 8 seeds have won a national championship in the history of March Madness except for one. What seed 1 through 8 has never won a national championship?
Okay, question. Follow-up question.
Go for it.
Is this current AP right now, or are we going off of last week's ranking? This is current.
No, seeds.
Like seeds all the time.
Oh, Jesus Christ. This is not
There's
going
been
to go well.
one seed 1 through 8 that has
One has
never won a
definitely
national
won it.
championship.
I think this is Maya's question.
A 3 is definitely
Is
one.
it?
Is it Maya? Yeah, it is
Yeah, it
Maya's
is.
question.
4 is definitely one.
Ma'am?
Can you repeat the question?
All top 8
just guess a
seeds.
number 1
What
through
seed
8?
1 through 8 has never won a national championship?
Okay, so you know
We already
what?
have one off the board.
All right,
It's one of our
I
favorite
know
questions.
this answer for the simple fact that I was spelling bee champion
What?
in high school. So my answer is going to be FOUR4.
Wrong.
No.
Lily, you have any
WRONG.
8?
I thought it was a.
Nope.
No, it ain't seed 1 is okay. last.
Oh,
Jackson,
yeah.
last chance.
Dang it.
It's not a 1, 2, 3, or 4, obviously.
not
It's
an
not an
8.
8 seed.
So it's 5, 6, or 7.
No, 6 seeds won it. Kansas won it.
Okay, 5 or 7.
I'm pretty sure I've heard a stat that a 5 seed is never
I'll put you
won
on a
the
shot
NCAA
clock.
championship.
10.
It's 5, isn't it?
It's 5. It's 5.
Okay, so I
Jackson is correct.
misspelled 5.
Butler was a 5 seed that has made the national
But
championship,
they
but
missed
they
the
did
Gordon
not
Hayward
win
shot.
it.
Wow.
So this is all the time we
Let's
have.
go.
But
Let's
Thank you so
go.
much for joining us. Make sure you tune in to Playmakers this Friday.
Aaliyah Boston
Go to
Snap
our
for
Instagram at Good Morning Playmakers, and we will be back next week with more March Madness content. But without further ado, from our cast to you, have a great week.